reporting for Good Morning Grahamstown.
This is Stuart reporting for Good Morning Grahamstown.
This is Makubalo reporting for Good Morning Grahamstown.
Molweni, Goeiemorgen, and Good Morning Grahamstown. I'm Campbell Easton. Welcome to the show. Our top story today. Earlier this month, the Grahamstown High Court ruled in favor of the Salem community in one of the country's longest-running land restitution cases. Our reporter, Stuart traveled to Salem to bring us a fuller picture of what's going on.
Salem is a tiny village about 20 kilometers south of Grahamstown. Nestled among the rolling hills of the Eastern Cape, it was founded in 1820. Its name, which is of biblical origin, literally translates as peace. Ndwandwe, like his father before him, was born in Salem. He now lives in Grahamstown because the land that he grew up on is not his to live on.
How can you call a place when you take over his ground, his land, and you call it Salem, peace? That means it's not a peace. There was war because we were robbed of our land. And then there are white people who are trying to say that piece of land belongs to them, and they are telling lies. We know about that.
In 1940, 6,500 hectares of land known as the Salem Commonage was divided up among the white farming families in the area. The land, which was previously available for common use, is now subject to one of the longest and largest land restitution court cases in South Africa's history. The group laying claim to the land, known as the Salem Community, are made up of over 1,000 local Xhosa-speaking people who are descendants of the original Xhosa residents. The Salem Cricket Ground is the oldest cricket ground in the country, and it stands as a monument for the British Empire that once ruled here. While both the Empire and Apartheid have long since left this land, many of the residents here still feel the long-lasting effects of the institutionalized racism that supported both systems. The cricket ground stands at the center of the land claim, an area that is made up of 38 farms and properties. Next door to it is the Salem Methodist Church, which contains a graveyard full of white settlers. The history of these families has been recorded in church records and official documents. The history of Ndwandwe's people, on the other hand, is an oral one.
A white man has got a gift of writing everything, but they can write something false things. In our culture as blacks, the history is from the elder person going down till we all die.
Good Morning Grahamstown contacted more than 20 people to get a representative for the landowners to speak on camera, but they were either unavailable or declined to comment. Since the judgment, the landowners have lodged an appeal against the ruling with the Supreme Court of Appeals. Ndwandwe, however, is optimistic that the ruling will remain in his community's favor.
Because there is an appeal, again, we happen to be downhearted. But anyway, we are sure that at the end of the day, the land belongs to us.
It was here at the Grahamstown High Court where the landmark judgment was handed down on May 6th. Acting Judge Sadawala ruled that the Salem community's claim to the commonage was valid. While the feasibility of the land transfer has yet to be explored, and some Salem landowners want to refer the case to the Supreme Court of Appeals, this still marks a historic moment in the history of South African land reform. This is Stuart reporting for Good Morning Grahamstown.
Salem isn't the only part of Makana where land ownership is being challenged. Here in Grahamstown, the municipality, against a court interdict, has bulldozed half of a man's house, claiming the space as a historical site. Makubalo investigates the plight of local resident Ndwandwe.
For 35 years, Ndwandwe and his family have lived in this property, now reduced to rubble. Local authorities moved in with bulldozers and demolished his home, despite a court interdict. Makana Municipality argues that this is a national heritage site and feels that Ndwandwe and his family need to vacate this property. This property is now subject to court proceedings, with the Makana Municipality not wanting to give Ndwandwe and his family fair compensation. Dr. Gustav Moller, lecturer at the Rhodes University Law Faculty, gave his expertise on the case at hand, having done his dissertation in 2011 on the impact of Section 26 of the Constitution on the eviction of squatters in South Africa. He shed some light on the land expropriation law.
This is a classic field of application where someone is being constructively evicted from their home without a court order. So what the Constitution tells us in section 26(3) of the Constitution is that no one may be evicted from their home or have their home demolished without a court order. That is significant in terms of South Africa's political history during apartheid, where many people were evicted and had their homes demolished without a court order. So it shows a definite shift from apartheid to post-apartheid South Africa.
The battle between Ndwandwe and Makana Municipality is over the Egazini Memorial Battlefield, which has been marked as a National Heritage Site. Egazini, which translates to a place of blood, is the location where Xhosa chief Makana attacked the first British settlers in Grahamstown in 1819. We spoke to Ndwandwe's attorney, Mandira Subramani, to find out more about her client's legal and emotional battles.
Well, he's extremely traumatized, as you can imagine, living without a house, especially in light of recent events, because on the 8th of May this year, his house was actually bulldozed whilst we were in the process of going to court over this eviction matter. So he's, of course, extremely traumatized and feels as if this is a blatant abuse of authority in this regard. It definitely is very upsetting to him, and he often says to me that he has sleepless nights over this matter because he isn't sure whether the municipality is going to come back and bulldoze his house or have complete disrespect for the interdict that we sought against the municipality to stop them from bulldozing any further part of his house. So he is very, very traumatized right now.
On the 27th of May 2014, the case involving Ndwandwe versus Makana Municipality was heard at the Magistrates Court. The case was later postponed. Land expropriation in South Africa is a recurring issue due to our political history. The government is entitled to any land that is deemed a National Heritage Site, as long as there is fair and equal compensation. Yet for the Ndwandwe family, this has not been the case. This is Makubalo reporting for Good Morning Grahamstown.
Closer to home, certain students at Rhodes University are facing a financial and academic battle with the institution. It emerged this year that pharmacy faculty learners have been told that if they fail a subject, they'll be forced to return to first year. Our Anelisa Salavu attempted to get to the bottom of the national decision that's having local consequences.
As the end of semester approaches, the students at Rhodes University are preparing for the exams, but all is not well in the pharmacy department. Third-year students are worried about a new change in the curriculum, where failing one subject will send them all the way back to their first year. Pharmacy lecturer Mike Naidu is worried about the financial implications for students who have gotten this far but cannot afford to start their studies from scratch.
Perhaps in our discussions with each other when we were designing this, we should have had a clear strategy of, we've got students in third year, if they fail, what do we do? Firstly, as a parent, this, for me, to have a child in third year, would then be kicked unceremoniously down to first year and have to pay an extra couple of 100,000. We're not talking small change. Now, if he had to go back to first year, that's it. He's done. His life is, and we're talking not 1 year consequence, we're talking 20-year consequence. Because the guy has been at Rhodes, has gotten a bite of the apple, has tasted the freedom of education, has done all of these wonderful things, and now gets kicked out of university, not because he's stupid, but because he hasn't got money.
SRC counsellor Sianda Makubo is trying to represent students' concerns about what happens if they fail one of their subjects.
So a list of demands of summer school supplementary exams and extra classes, and for the dean or his team of management within the faculty to come down and address students. And now I can tell you the dean addressed students, which is tick. Some schools have been promised by the dean on condition that more than 30 students fail.
So, there is now a plan in place if a large number of students fail. But the problem still remains. What if a few unfortunate students could be left behind? Where does that leave them? Students who were approached were too uncomfortable to talk about the matter, or either thought they weren't allowed to speak out. Unfortunately, there seems to be a feeling that speaking about the issue to the media could put them in trouble with the department. I'm standing outside the pharmacy department, where students refuse to talk about the issue regarding their academics. Although the department agreed to meet some of their demands, there's still great uncertainty regarding their academic future. I'm Anelisa Salavu, reporting for Good Morning Grahamstown.
Rhodes University has the largest number of students living on campus. However, for those who live in town, transport is a problem. The university recently signed a contract with London Transport to take over an internal shuttle service, but not everybody is happy with this decision. Sandile Manganyela investigates.
The Rhodes University Transport Department has been a very important part of the university. It has been a highly debated topic of late
after the SRC's initiative to introduce a new transport system.
The SRC president, Brad Benz, added some context on what they're proposing.
I don't think we did our homework correctly, but we've run up a deficit of just under 200,000 Rand. Just running these buses now, if something had to happen, we would be completely liable for any loss to life, any damages, and that would really cripple anyone financially, the Orpidon Union, the SRC.
The SRC is proposing to use the London shuttle service full-time. The SRC buses are unsafe as they are old and deteriorating. The services that the SRC and the OP Union offer are illegal as they do not own a service license to transport people. I'm standing at the very spot where the Opidon bus drops students off in the morning and fetches them again in the evening. This is the only form of transport that Opidon students get from the university. The Rhodes University students have had a mixed reaction to this proposal. Some of them didn't even seem to know about this issue. This is what they had to say.
I think it's a bit unfair, but if you take up 25 Rand for 12 months compared to people's safety and stuff like that, it's incomparable, really.
I don't think it's a good idea because I don't need it. So for me, it's just like whatever, but don't charge it on my student account. No, I can't be paying for such.
I'm not sure. On the other hand, I would say it will be viable to those who need the service. But on the other side, it's not comfortable for me. Because I prefer just to walk, so I don't need that expense on my account.
The SRC has promised to provide a detailed plan of the proposed bus system to Rhodes students at latest next year. Whether or not this will be successful still remains to be seen. This is Sandile Manganyela reporting for Good Morning Grahamstown.
In lighter news, a local marimba band called the Kingsmen is looking to beat its way into the Grahamstown music scene. We go now for a behind-the-scenes look at one of their rehearsals.
Yeah, we're just a couple of guys in the university. I saw some really passionate musicians and got them together and started this band late November 2013. We're going to be playing on campus a lot. We're just going to rock up on random days, preferably maybe outside the library, and just jam for the students. Yeah, with that kind of band.
Thank you for joining Good Morning Grahamstown. This was Campbell Easton. Until next time, Sala Kakuchle, Tot Ziens. Goodbye, Grahamstown.